Pruitt on the
Let
phone
me
as well.
drop Terry.
So
And
Terry's got to figure out
Coach P.
JP's got to figure out which buttons to press. But Coach Pruitt, Cherryville High School football coach, is going to be on with us if JP can do his job. Gene, let's see. That's not it.
Also,
Wrong one. Live editing,
1.
ladies and gentlemen. This is not scripted. This is not scripted or pre-recorded.
Is he on
This
there?
is live.
Coach Pruitt, we got you on there, or are you calling back? Anyway, JP hasn't given me any hand signals, but anyway, I think we got Coach Pruitt calling back in just a few moments. North Carolina. What's funny about Coach Pruitt here is that the Max Preps has been using North Carolina's been using their rankings for some of their for the playoffs and stuff the last few years. He's been the coach, I think, 5 to 7 years now at Cherryville. They still got the other coach. They still got the other coach on listed, Gene. So, good job there for Max Preps. Did JP? Did you ever hit a button right and get Coach Pruitt on? I hear a reverb there, so I'm guessing Pruitt might be. Coach, you
I'm
there?
listening to you. Can you hear me?
You on a baseball field right now, or where
No,
you at?
I'm walking the dogs.
Okay, walking the dogs. What's up this morning, Coach?
Oh, not much. I told JP I slept in on Saturday trying to catch up with virtual school and Canvas, and got 2 kids playing baseball. Busy time, getting some football workouts in too, a couple days a week, and hopefully in the future we can continue to work with those guys. But we're having a couple days a week. We get skill development in. This week we did it on Tuesday because of the weather forecast. Feels a little wet yesterday, other than being out in tennis shoes and doing some conditioning. We weren't on the field much yesterday, so it's been a unique fall so far. But it does feel like fall this morning, so that's a great thing.
It does feel like football season. I was thinking about that driving in this morning. Coach, how is the schedule making as far as football, basketball, and everything coming up this fall? Or are everybody starting to round that out and everything, or are we still working on it?
I think so. Most people are about done, and there for a little while the state kind of put a moratorium on that, asked people not to announce that, but we put ours out this week in a couple outlets and places, and when we get done, I'll forward it to you. Actually, I should have sent it to you myself, Kevin.
Okay.
But we're on scrimmage. East Burke, though that date has not been set. Me and Coach Miner are still trying to iron out that date. But we're on scrimmage East Burke, and then in our conference, since we had one extra game, we've decided to play the teams in our western part of our conference, and then depending on if you're in the east or the west, you're either playing 2 members across the other side or 3 members. If you're in the east, you're playing 3 members. You're from the west, you're playing 2. So that means we're not playing 2 teams. So the 2 teams in our conference we're not playing are Mountain Island Charter and Union Academy. That means we'll be playing Community School Davidson and Pine Lake Prep, along with Thomas Jefferson, Highland Tech, Highland Tech, Thomas Jefferson, Bessemer City, and that will round out our schedule.
You have 6?
Do what?
You have 6 games or 5?
Yeah, we'll have Christ the King as well. So
Okay.
Christ the King is at 14 on our side, and then we pick up 2 from the other side. So that gives us 6 games. That means we had to have a non-conference game. We were hoping for West Lincoln, but I think West Lincoln's conference decided to pull everybody, and they have 7 games for their 7 other members. I guess they have 18 conference, so they'll play their 7 games. So we're going to end up playing Chase. So Coach Coggle and the Trojans will be at Cherryville for February 26th game, which will be the first game of the year. But now with that said, when you look at the basketball schedule and the baseball schedule, that kind of fits up with the number of teams that you have in your conference. And of course, for us, football and wrestling is the only conference opponents where we split and go across. So like Mountain Island Charter and Cherryville both have wrestling and so forth. But when it comes to basketball, the open weeks kind of match up. So I think for basketball and a lot of our sports, Chase is going to be a common opponent because their open weeks match up with ours.
Okay.
And I think in baseball, Coach Harrell was mentioning, I think we're going to have Ashbrook on the schedule, and I don't know who our other non-conference opponent is in baseball. But, it's been kind of unique. And honestly, most time I wouldn't have information on stuff like that. But me and Coach Harrell are involved in checking kids in school every morning at 7:45 to 8:30. So every day me and him get to discuss the events of the week, and we get to talk about that, or he has a coach come by and they're discussing different things. So it's been a unique experience. You know, I had that 1 year of an AD experience at Bessemer City, but getting to sit and watch him do a little extra stuff. And there's a lot more into putting together a schedule and doing some of those things. And, you know, we've even discussed this week, and I've been working on realignment and when that's going to come out, and then how that's going to affect our opponents in the future. And so we've been looking forward to trying to find and schedule those opponents for the future, and thinking about the 2021 true season, and then the 2022, the new contract year. So we do those usually in 2 years. So it's been a lot to consider, and but it's a good problem to have, knowing that we got something to look forward to as we turn the page on the calendar year. And of course, volleyball and cross country, some of those sports. I think I want to say swimming's included. Of course, we don't have swimming at Cherryville, but I think those are the first group of sports that will start off the calendar year for the High School Athletic Association.
Well, Coach, how do you feel or see the, you know, as far as the playoff reformatting go that has went, or the changes that they made to it?
Well, you know, that's going to be just a smaller group of teams that make the playoffs. And, you know, the way I look at it, well, it's hard to believe. I'm doing my 29th year of coaching. I always loved those first couple of years of coaching, when you would get the High School Athletic Association book, and it would say Northwest number 1 would be playing Smoky Mountain number 3, or your, you know, whatever, your different conferences.
Right.
And it would already have the playoffs created. And that's kind of what they're going to this year,
right,
using Max Prep rankings. So I think that's a breath of fresh air. Of course, it's just half the number of teams, so makes your games important, and it's important to play well early. And, you know, that's the part. I mean, I've watched these NFL teams play without preseason games, and I mean, most games seem pretty clean, and there was a lot of, I mean, when I say clean, there wasn't a lot of mistakes or things that you would normally see early in a football season. I think we've seen a little bit of that in some of the college football with how some of the teams have probably had different things associated with COVID restrictions, and what they've been able to do with their teams, and how much time they've taken, or if they worked on tackling and things like that. So I'm interested to see how our season starts and how we prepare. And of course, now with the High School Athletic Association creating scrimmages where you're only going to scrimmage one opponent, and you're going to have one opponent on site. I mean, that's a difference than what we've done in the past, where you could see multiple teams scrimmaging at the same time. So looking forward to going up to Eichert and seeing East Burke and getting ready to start our season. And then we definitely have a really solid Chase team. I told my kids when we announced that might be the best team on our schedule because they have a lot of great kids coming back, and I know Coach Todd will do a good job there.
Yes, sir. Coach Todd will be his first year up there. And well, I played at Cherryville and Bessemer when Chase was in the conference, so I'm very familiar with playing them at both of those schools. And we always had it was always really competitive, really good games with them. Well, Coach, I appreciate you calling it. Enjoy the weather while it's doing pretty good right now, I guess, out there if you're walking the dogs.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking forward to a little App State football day up at Marshall. I mean, back when I was in school, Georgia Southern was Marshall. That was the game on the schedule that you always look forward to.
Right, right.
And that's going to be a pretty good game. I saw Marshall play first game of the year against Eastern Kentucky, and they look really solid. So if Appalachian does the things they did last week, turn the ball over and have some mental mistakes and give the team the ball back like they did last week a couple times, it could be a long day. But I think, you know, in football, you usually see your best improvement from game 1 to game 2. And I'm sure they're going to step up and play well today. There's a lot of connections with Marshall. I think the offensive coordinator played quarterback at Marshall, and Coach Clark grew up in West Virginia just down the road. And I saw where Appalachian signed a kicker. Hey, that's usually not big news, but he was the number 1 kicker in the state of West Virginia, and he chose Appalachian over Marshall this week. So a lot of little things there that, you know, makes for a good rivalry. And even though they haven't played in a long time, it'll be fun to get to watch them play Marshall today.
Now, they used to be in the same conference before Marshall went big time on them. And I do remember that because when I was in school, there was a couple of Marshall fans that were friends of mine that used to talk about that. But last question for you, Coach, before you go. Last week, Tom picked Charlotte to beat Appalachian. How many up, downs, and laps does he got to do at the office before he gets out of here? I'm asking the coach.
Well, I mean, how many points did App score? 35?
Yes, sir.
You know, so that'd be a good start. And
we're going to start with 35 push-ups or laps.
You know, Tom must be tight with Chris Paul. I saw where Chris Paul also picked Charlotte. over Appalachian State last year in the ESPN thing. But
they had the lead, Coach. They had the lead in the first quarter, just couldn't hang on.
They scored first time. It doesn't matter of who scored. It's not, you don't win by scoring first.
Yeah, they scored first time.
The most points you can score. Okay,
that's correct, Coach.
But I'll be honest with you. Yeah. I think the year before, I don't think Charlotte ever trailed. But man, the year before was like a shootout, like 56-41, and that's what really concerned me. And really, I think Appalachian's defense this year is ahead of where they were last year. Because there's the continuity of the Scott Satterfield staff, I think, within that with Coach Jones coming back. And I don't think they changed a whole lot with Coach Roof, but I think it was just a little bit of a few weeks of Coach Roof trying to learn the system before they really got to playing good defense last year. So I think the defense is ahead. I'm interested to see how they do with Marshall today. Marshall's pretty explosive. And the offense has got to clean up some stuff. But there's a lot there. Those three running backs are really good. So I look forward to a good year of Appalachian State football. And, with COVID, you never know what can happen, just like Charlotte looking forward to going to play at Carolina today. And 3 days out, there's no game. So, you never know what can happen as you go through your year. And that's what's going to make college football unique this season for sure.
All right, Coach. Well, you clean up the streets of Cherville while you're out there, okay?
Yeah, I will. I'm getting ready to go clean up the weight room at Cherville.
All right.
I'm getting ready to go do and take care of a few things that need to be done and get ready for another week of school.
All right, buddy. Have a good one.
All right. Y'all take care.
Thank you, Coach.
Appreciate you guys. Yes.
That's Coach Tim Pruitt, Cherville Ironman football, getting ready for this fall. And, JP, you ready to go? We got to take a quick break. Well, JP, give me 2 minutes. It's good. Actually, JP, give me 3, and then at 9:45 we'll take the break. So we got to get the nuggets in real quick. Gene, I did see the picture of you guys' weight room. That thing's sweet. I love the colors. Outstanding. You folks got to check that out online. Check them out on Twitter. All right, Gene, I believe